Hello, it's Anna Hill here with the Farming Today podcast. Today, the UK bans all imports of pork products from Spain after wild boar were found to have contracted African Swine Fever. Could that lead to a shortage of Spanish specialities this Christmas?
Consumers should expect some availability issues with regards to those specialist Spanish products that you're talking about, like chorizo, etc., that we all love to eat, especially around Christmas. And it could potentially impact the price as well. If supply is limited, then it will start to push prices up.
We'll have more on that in just a moment. First, as work out in the fields tends to wind down in the winter months, this week we're exploring the sort of jobs farmers do at this time of the year. One of those chores is tidying things up, often so everything's ready when the season starts up, and maybe putting all the farm machinery under cover, nice and clean, ready for the spring. Keeping the farm tidy can also be important and practical, especially if you have visitors, like the Williamson family do to their farm shop. Mary Ward-Lowry has been to meet Craig Williamson on his farm just north of Gainsborough to check for cobwebs, dust and old Land Rovers.
I don't think it's that easy to focus on tidying up when you've got 900 acres of arable land, chickens, alpacas, horses and a flock of sheep to look after. But keeping your sheds organised makes good business sense. With a bit of a shift around, Craig spotted a new opportunity.
I've got a grand plan for this area here.
Oh yeah, what's your plan?
We're going to put some stables in the corn store.
Oh, yeah.
Some temporary stables for the winter because it's not going to corn in. That's a job.
That's the thing, isn't it? Before you do any kind of project, you have to sort things out and tidy up. And it
there is so much tidying up.
Yeah.
Because I've got years and years of stuff. Now look, the potato harvest is still out. So me and my son Ben, we have this sort of argument. Please don't wash it. Please don't. I know it looks pretty, but please don't wash it. I'm paranoid that anything gets washed, you get bearings with water in, and then you've got to try and run it and put it away as it is, and then wash it next June. Bring it out in some sunshine, then you can wash it just before you're going to use it. Because I know if I wash my tractor, there'll be some electrical fault suddenly happens because some water will get ingress somewhere, and it'll be like,
and then it'll be there all winter.
Yes, and it'll be beeping at me.
I was talking to somebody yesterday who said they blow everything down first.
Yes.
Then they power wash it.
Yeah.
And then they, grease it up.
Oh, goodness. Grease?
That's not on your agenda.
No, but in theory, you should grease first.
Right.
So if you are going to power wash something, make sure you get plenty of grease because otherwise the water will get in. And it's the main problem. And then you're setting into 20 acres of tates or 50 acres or whatever, and suddenly you get a bearing going. It's like, oh, why is that gone? Oh, yeah, because you got water in it.
And are you conscious, because I know you've diversified, haven't you? You've got a farm shop.
Incredibly so, yes.
And are you conscious of the image of the farm, or do you think, it doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect because people expect it's a working farm?
I think, I know a lot of farmers will identify, I go past some farmyards and think, that is the tidiest yard in the world. I have a field just at the top where we have some sheep and alpacas and whatever, and I call it the Field of Dreams. And I've got all my project cars up there, outside of course, and there's about 4 old Discoveries and an old Range Rover Classic and bits like that, which is like, one day, all those Land Rover parts hidden in potato boxes will definitely come in handy. Craig's a tenant farmer, and he was only 29 when he took over the farm from his dad. A lot of tenant farmers feel a pressure to make the farm look unnaturally smart for the annual visit of the trustees, but Craig's attitude has changed over the years. Having taken over at such a young age and then panic for so many years, look, you worry about tidying up when the landlord turns up. And no, we don't just get the landlord, we get all the trustees turn. About 30 of them come, and it's like they're doing a lot of building work in Gainsborough on their land, so that's what they're more interested in. But they like coming here, and they'll come into the shop. And I know Sally will keep this nice and tidy in Charlotte, and so they love to come and see what we're doing in the shop. They're not bothered about the farm side, it's the diversification side. That's what so they can go. So when they go back to London or wherever they go, and they go, oh yes, one of our tenants. I'm sure he does actually sound like that. And one of our tenants, yes, he's doing this and he's doing that, and they've got a park run, and they've got a whatever that is, and they've got pumpkins, and they've got alpacas, and what are we doing next? We're doing outdoor chickens, and as long as you pay the rent, maybe they do look and go, why has he got so many cars? Why do you need more than one car?
The irrepressible Craig Williamson there with his grand plans. A farmer is calling on the Scottish Government to fund a multi-million-pound dairy development programme which would encourage farmers to keep cows with their newborn calves for longer. David Finlay has been pioneering the unconventional system on his farm near Kirkcudbright, which is now the largest commercial cow with calf dairy in Europe. BBC Scotland's Laurie Carnacan reports.
It's a Drake November's Day here in Galloway, and I've come to Rainton Farm near Kirkcudbright to witness something you wouldn't expect to find in a dairy herd. Inside the cowshed are 130 dairy cows and some very cute newborn calves. I'm watching a calf suckling milk from its mother, and that doesn't sound that unusual, but it really is in a traditional dairy farming setup. Normally, the milk would be collected in the dairy parlour and then sold as a milk product. And in order to do that, most dairy farms in Scotland separate the mothers and calves shortly after birth. But farmer David Finlay has overhauled this conventional method in favour of what he believes is a more ethical practice.
Basically, it's leaving the calves with their own mothers instead of less than a few hours, now leaving them for 5 to 6 months, trying to see if we can harness the natural health and productivity of a system where it is more natural for the cows and calves.
The idea came from David and his late wife Wilma, who wasn't from a dairy farming background and couldn't understand why the mothers and their calves were separated. The cow with calf system had only been trialled on a small scale in some European countries, and when the Finlays gave it a go on a commercial scale, they almost bankrupt their business. But they finally found a way of making the business financially viable.
And what we found is that we can carry 25% more cows on the farm because the young stock are growing and maturing so much faster. The cows are yielding 25% more milk, so the system is actually more efficient, more productive, more healthy and more profitable.
David's now calling on the Scottish Government to match the EU's multi-million-pound cow with calf dairy development programme.
We can deliver all the things that society say they want: sustainability, food security, animal welfare, social welfare. It's about government recognising the opportunity here for Scotland to become a world leader and to harness that.
Scottish Government Agriculture Minister Jim Fairley told BBC Scotland that they are committed to high animal welfare standards in all types of farming and have previously invested in projects trialling cow with calf systems. I've travelled over to Scotland's Rural College Barony campus on the outskirts of Dumfries. The college is part of a research project studying the cow with calf system. Dr Holly Ferguson is a precision dairying scientist here.
People like David pioneering this system and helping farmers understand what works and what doesn't are really useful, and it's what we need. We need more people to create that blueprint that would let people take up cow with calf systems in the UK.
Dr Holly Ferguson from Scotland's Rural College. The first cases of Bluetongue disease have been confirmed in 2 cows in Northern Ireland. The disease is spread by midges and affects sheep, cattle and other ruminants. It's been prevalent in Europe, and there have been more than 200 cases in England and Wales since July this year, though none in Scotland so far. A 20-kilometre control zone has been implemented around Bangor in County Down, and the livestock market has been temporarily closed. Northern Ireland Agriculture and Environment Minister Andrew Muir told BBC Radio Ulster they've acted to prevent any further spread.
What we've done, in addition to setting up that 20-kilometre zone, we've increased the amount of testing in the slaughterhouses. We've also put in place traps for midges so we can actually test them. And also we're doing more surveillance on farm in terms of testing of herds. So we're really stepping that up to see whereabouts this is. Hopefully it hasn't spread, but we need to make sure that we're responding to this very quickly.
Minister Andrew Muir there. Well, there's also been concerning news on the animal health front from Spain, where 2 wild boar were found to have died from African Swine Fever, or ASF, the first cases there since 1994. 13 other countries in the EU have had cases of ASF, leading to the loss of more than 2 million commercial pigs. Now the UK has temporarily banned all pig products from Spain while the government there tries to contain it. African swine fever is a virus spread by ticks, but it can also infect pigs if they eat infected meat. It's usually fatal and there's no effective vaccine. For Spain, though, the presence of the disease will have a huge impact as it's the EU's biggest pork producer and exporter. Lizzie Wilson is Chief Executive of the National Pig Association.
African swine fever in Spain means that it has crept even closer to the UK. Also, it is a huge geographical leap, so that the closest other ASF outbreak is Italy, a very significant distance. And generally, when it's such a huge leap, it's human mediated. So there's some sort of human transition element been at play there. Spain is also the EU's biggest pork producer and exporter. And therefore, because it will have temporarily lost its entire export market, there is going to be a lot of cheaper Spanish pig meat on the market looking for another home. And that will have serious consequences for our domestic pig price and our market as well. So kind of they're your main issues, really.
These cases are in wild boar. Does that make it less of a worry?
No, it's more of a worry, to be honest, because Spain has quite a large wild boar population, which means we've no idea how far it's spread. It will be far more difficult to control and eradicate, and proving that freedom from disease is going to be extremely challenging. We have heard there is anecdotal evidence that wild boar numbers specifically within that Catalonia area are quite out of control. There's lots of them located around towns and kind of around domestic bins. So again, really high risk, to be honest, with regards to spreading that notifiable disease.
When you say around public bins, are you suspecting that these animals might have eaten some food which had been thrown away and contracted it like that?
Potentially, and it would definitely explain the huge geographical leap from the last known ASF case, which was Italy.
But that means, doesn't it, that there are pork products which we're eating or which are being eaten in Europe which might have the virus in them?
Potentially, and that's exactly why we've been lobbying so hard for so long now with regards to our own national border control and biosecurity. Because that's the risk, is contaminated, illegally imported pig meat finding its way into our pig population in the UK.
Just to point out, this disease does not affect humans, does it?
No, not at all. No, pigs only.
The UK imports around 37,000 tonnes a year of pork and pig products from Spain. What are the controls then around when that meat gets to the border? And if you're worried, as you said, about infected meat coming in, what is happening now? Is it being held and stored?
Yes, so currently our government have placed a complete ban on all pork products from Spain, and all of those products will be held at border control posts until further notice. Our government then needs to speak to Spain basically and negotiate some sort of regionalisation agreement. So that means that they will be able to export pork products from other non-affected regions across the country. And that's something that we've now got to discuss and agree with Spain for the UK.
We are just coming up to Christmas. There's an awful lot of cured Spanish meat around. It's often on the table at Christmas, isn't it? Does that mean we won't be able to have it on the shelves?
I think consumers should expect some availability issues with regards to those specialist Spanish products that you're talking about, like chorizo, etc., that we all love to eat, especially around Christmas. And it could potentially impact the price as well. If supply is limited, then it will start to push prices up. I'm not saying there's going to be a complete shortage, but there will definitely be availability issues.
Lizzie Wilson, Chief Executive of the National Pig Association. That's all from us. I'm Anna Hill. The producer was Sally Challoner. Farming Today is a BBC Audio Bristol production.